G'day everyone. Well, it's been an interesting week. On Monday I went to John to be his Mackenzie friend in court. Now, was facing an alleged common assault charge from a bailiff, no less. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you out just the simple 3-page response that he's put, an application for the defence for stay of proceedings and abusive process, and section 147. So in other words, he's putting in an application to have the charge dismissed or discharged. I will also read you some of the and I'm not going to bother reading the affidavits from John or from anyone else, but I will read you the police report and the statements and the notes from the police, not to mention Matthew Preston, who's the bailiff's boss at Ministry of Justice, who decided to put pressure on the police and force the police to charge John several months afterwards. So yeah, really shocking stuff. And that way you can get a read of all of this and you can understand exactly how they abused the process. Not to mention the lying fucking prosecutor that was there on Monday, who all she did was try and get John to admit that he committed assault. It's almost like me in the speeding ticket and them trying to admit who the driver was. Not our job to help them, is it? So you keep your mouth shut and you make them prove every element beyond a reasonable doubt, especially if it's in the criminal side of things. So we'll start off with this. This is the application for stay. Okay, to the Registrar of Auckland District Court and to the New Zealand Police. This document notifies you that 1. The defendant John Patrick Murphy applies to the court for the following orders. 1.1. A stay of the prosecution against him alleging common assault against Anish Bugnaga on the 14th of May 2021. So this was over a year and a half ago this has been dragging on for. 1.2. Discharge from that offence pursuant to section 147 of the Criminal Procedure Act, which is motion to get dismissed. The grounds on which each order is sought are as follows, and here are the grounds. On the 14th of May, the New Zealand Police gave the defendant a warning in relation to the alleged common assault, which was recorded in an offence report as follows. Following a discussion with Sergeant Andrew and Chris William, a decision was made to verbally warn John due to the matter not meeting the Solicitor General's guidelines for prosecution, as it does not meet the threshold for public interest due to the low level of assault. They missed out the word alleged. John was verbally warned for the assault, again alleged, and Anish was advised that the matter will be filed with the warning being entered. Now, police can only give you a warning if you accept what you did. John never accepted to ever assaulting anyone, so they couldn't give him a warning. 2.2. The warning was without lawful authority. Exactly right. 2.3. The defendant relied on the warning causing him prejudice to his defence. Namely, it caused him not to save the CCTV footage of the incident that led to the alleged assault. Now it's alleged. And that's because we're writing this bit. It wasn't the police. The other bit was the police writing their little bit. And you'll get to hear all of that soon. 2.4. There are no prosecution witnesses who saw the assault. So they've got no witnesses and it doesn't meet the public standards. The alleged victim did not see what happened to cause the alleged assault, as he says he was allegedly pushed from behind. The CCTV footage was the most reliable evidence in support of the defendant's defence that the alleged push was accidental arising from a trip. 2.5. The charging officer abdicated his prosecutorial discretion to the alleged victim. Number 3. The application is made in reliance on the common law doctrine of abusive process, section 147 of the Criminal Procedure Act 2011, Wilson v R 2015, New Zealand Supreme Court 189, S v the Commissioner of Police 2021, New Zealand High Court 743, the New Zealand Police formal warnings policy, and the oral evidence of defence to be heard at the designated fixture. 16th of March 2022 was when that was filed. Okay, now again, I'm not going to go through the affidavits of John or his tech guy that tried to come and show you the footage, but we'll read through these officer reports. They're claiming that it had happened at 2:30 in the afternoon. The victim was Anish Sahi Bhatnagar. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. It's a bit of a rough one. Criminal proceedings. Will an arrest be made? No. Will charges be laid? No. Will formal warning be issued? No. So they've said no on all of that. There is no NIA links to this offence, new links, and they've just put the victim and John's name there. And here's the narrative. At 3 p.m. on the 14th of May 2021, the court bailiff, Anish, we'll just call him Anish, arrived at the address of 380 Great South Road, Green Lane, to serve a fines warrant on the occupant, John Murphy. Okay, so it's a warrant for fines. It's not a warrant for arrest. John immediately became argumentative, and Anish backed away and began to walk away. As he was walking away, he was shoved in the back by John, causing him to stumble but not fall. Anish believes that John used both his hands in the assault, left the address, and activated his personal alarm to request assistance. At the time of making the call to 111, there were no units available, and he remained on the side of the road, during which time he was approached by John, who was yelling abuse at him again. Anish moved across the road but was still in sight from the address, and before long he was approached again by John. At this point, a unit was able to attend and arrived shortly after to find Anish in his vehicle and John back at his car yard across the road. Anish advised of the above, and the attending units walked across with him with the intent to have another go at serving the warrant and to talk to him about the assault. John initially began to engage, but it was clear he was not going to cooperate. When advised of the assault complaint, he denied any assault and tried to return to his office. He was placed under arrest for the assault. They really missed the word alleged. And after some brief physical resistance, he was placed in handcuffs. Following his restraint, he became somewhat compliant but refused to allow police to view his CCTV to back up his claim that an assault did not take place, stating that he did not have access to it as it was a remote. He claimed that his aggressive nature and present is due to him being given a wrong meds 2 days ago, when he was only discovered it today and had replaced. He provided a letter that stated this. However, this letter appeared to be homemade and it will need some further investigation. The letter detailed that John is on medication for it. Well, I'm not even going to bother telling you, it's none of your business. There were no other witnesses to the assault. Following a discussion with Sergeant Andrews and Chris William, a decision was made to verbally warn John due to the matter not meeting the Solicitor General's guidelines for prosecution, as it does not meet the threshold for public interest due to the low level of the alleged assault. John was verbally warned for the assault, and Anish was advised that the matter will be filed with a warning being entered. Of note, during the time of the police presence, John agreed to pay the fine and complete the warrant. Okay. So that's that. There's this real nasty looking chicken scratch from the police. I mean, and what a novel he's written. And that would be SSCL18, I'm guessing is, yep, SS or SCCI, so Sierra Charlie Charlie Indigo 18 is his number. Then we've got this email from Matthew Preston, made on the 19th of May, some 5 days after the assault, where he emails the police complaining that even though it didn't meet the public threshold and there was no evidence and no fucking witnesses, he wanted to put a bit of pressure on the police. So Matthew Preston, who's Anish's boss, got in contact with the police. Kiora Scott, bailiff Anish, not even going to bother with his last name, had an incident on the 14th of May while executing a fines warrant to seize on a company by the name of Jodin Finance. The director, John Patrick Murphy, was not available at the time, however arrived within 5 minutes and asked the bailiff to head into his office. Mr. Murphy repeatedly stated that he has no intentions to pay and that the bailiff should leave. The bailiff then advised Mr. Murphy he could seize a vehicle that belonged to the company. Murphy said that there is nothing belonging to him. Bailiff started to move out of the office, maintaining a safe distance from Mr. Murphy, but suddenly Mr. Murphy jumped and hit the bailiff with both his hands on the top of his back. Well, that's interesting, considering Matthew Preston wasn't even fucking there. So, why don't you spill out some more hearsay there, Matthew, while you're at it? The bailiff controlled his fall to avoid further injury and activated his mobile duress alarm, which is monitored by direct safety, who then dispatched the police. Yeah, an hour and a half afterwards, when they had units available. The bailiff controlled his fall to avoid further injury. Bailiffs are issued fines warrants under the Summary Proceedings Act 1957, pursuant to Section 83(1)(b)(a), 83(2)(a), 87(2)(a), and 88(a)(e)(1)(a). 98, and he's even supplied a section of it. Now let's read through this. Warrant to seize property. 98. If any warrant to seize property is issued under section, the warrant applies so as to authorise a seizure. Okay. Well, that's warrant to seize property. That's fine. But let's have a look at this bit. He's trying to say Matthew is trying to say that John obstructed the bailiff. Now let's have a look. 102A, resisting or obstructing bailiffs. If any person without reasonable excuse resists or obstructs a bailiff while the bailiff is executing a warrant for arrest. Oh, hang on. There was no warrant for arrest, was there? So John obstructed fuck all. Matthew Preston, you best stick to doing the Ministry of Justice stuff and not trying to be a cop. And especially use your power and authority to try and force the police into filing a frivolous fucking lawsuit against John, which is what they did. And of course they leave it to the 11th hour to be chicken shits and back out, because they would never ever admit they've done something wrong. Would you, police? Or would you, Matthew Preston? Moving on, and he's also supplied 68 powers and duties of bailiffs. Power to execute a warrant. Okay, whoopty shit. Let's see. So yeah, he's supplied all of these sections of law which mean fuck all. Because one, he didn't obstruct nothing because there wasn't any bailiff there issuing a warrant for arrest, and there's no first-hand evidence or witnesses to say that that even happened. Didn't meet the public standard, did it? Now we've got the statement here from Anish Bagtar, who all of a sudden wasn't sure, but from being pushed for both hands on a downward force on his back, and I mean, it really is a joke. So we've got the bailiff here crying a river, but I would point out that this statement from Anish was made on the 11th of the 6th 2021. Okay, so he came in and made a statement 4 fucking weeks afterwards. Not much accuracy left in those sorts of things if you leave a month or 5 months to go around to actually, you know, making a statement. A little bit of, you know, credibility issue goes on that one. And he made that statement to Scott Coleman. Now, Scott Coleman is SCCI18. So I'll be sure to email him a copy of the video that's getting presented. And we've got Scott Coleman's statements as well. Of note, now, let's read Scott Coleman's little statement, shall we? Well, mind you, it goes 48 fucking, goes up to 52 bloody paragraphs. But we'll read it anyway. So this is Scott Coleman's statement that he made 3 months after the assault. So the supposed victim made his statement 1 month afterwards, and the police officer that attended made his statement some 3 months afterwards. So yeah, that's real accurate. I, Scott Coleman, state I am a detective constable, he's a DC, in the New Zealand Police currently stationed in Auckland. On the 14th of May 2021, I attended an incident at 380 Great South Road, Green Lane. Working with me that day was Detective Constable James Prentice. At about 4 p.m, we were made aware of a court bailiff who was in need of immediate assistance as he was being attacked by someone. That was at 4 o'clock. At the time of hearing the job, I was unaware that the initial call came for assistance for assault was at 2:30, an hour and a half earlier. God, he'd be fucking pummeled after an hour and a half of being assaulted, wouldn't you think? We arrived near the address of 380 Great South Road and met with the bailiff, who was parked across the road in a vehicle marked bailiff. The bailiff introduced himself as Anish, not even going to bother with the last name, and advised that he was assaulted by a male at the address. Anish was wearing a bailiff uniform, which included a protective vest. He was clearly marked as bailiff. So, he advised that the male who assaulted him was John Murphy. He was there to serve a fine on Mr. Murphy and request payment. Mr. Murphy refused to pay the fine and became argumentative with Anish. Anish advised him if he was unwilling to pay the fine, then he would be towing 3 specific cars parked in the lot as per the warrant. The warrant was only for like a few $100, and they wanted to come and steal 3 fucking cars. Seems a little bit overboard to me, Anish. As he walked away from Mr. Murphy, he was hit in the back by him. Well, how does he know that? You know? He believed that the hit was with 2 fists in a downward-like motion that hit him in the upper back. So all of a sudden it's changed from a push to now fists with downward motion. So in other words, he's trying to justify an assault happened. If you're just using reasonable force, open hand, that's one thing. But if you had a closed fist, then that's intent. Okay? So he has to try and play it up. Bear in mind, of course, this is 3 months afterwards. So how the fuck is he going to remember that? He believed that the hit caused Anish to stumble forward, but he remained on his feet. What a cat-like reflexes Anish has. Anish pressed his safety alarm and turned back to face Mr. Murphy. A few words were exchanged when Mr. Murphy denied the assault. Anish left the address and returned to his vehicle. Mr. Murphy came out onto the street a couple more times while Anish was waiting for police to arrive and exchanged a few more words, but no further assaults took place. No further alleged assaults took place. Come on, Scotty. If you're going to write your statement, at least use the word alleged. No one's guilty of anything in this country because we're all presumed innocent until we are found liable in a court. Liable means upon conviction. So until there's a conviction, no one's guilty of any fucking assault. Get your fucking reports and your statements right, Scott Coleman. Get your fucking head on right. Anyway, I don't want to sound angry. Anish left the road. Mr. Murphy came out the street. With this information, Anish and I walked across the road and approached Mr. Murphy at 380 Great South Road, Green Lane. Mr. Murphy was immediately defensive about the whole situation and continued to argue the legalities of the fines warrant, and he believed he is no longer liable under the company name that it was being served to. He's exactly right, because none of those vehicles were owned by Joden Finance whatsoever. I advised Mr. Murphy that I was not there to adjudicate on the warrant, but only to be there for the safety of the bailiff. Really, I thought you would have been there to prevent any breach of the peace, but you're there solely for the safety, so you're not acting impartial. Is that right, Scott? You're there solely for the safety of the bailiff, not the safety of John. I mean, John, I'm sure, may have got assaulted too by Anish. There's no evidence to prove either story, is there? But no, you go ahead and you be there and you be backup for the bailiffs. God forbid you actually protect and serve the public. He continued to say that he is not responsible for that fine. I advised him we needed also to discuss the matter of the assault. What assault? He immediately denied the assault and tried to walk into one of the buildings on the property. Yeah, there was no assault. Walks away, tries to go into his office. As he was trying to walk away from me and closed the door behind him, I placed him under arrest for assault and held the door open to effect that arrest. After some brief physical resistance to the arrest, Detective Constable Prentice and I placed Mr. Murphy in handcuffs and he calmed down somewhat. I read Mr. Murphy his rights and caution. Mr. Murphy advised me that he understood his rights. Mr. Murphy denied assaulting Anish. Why don't you call him Mr. Big Waka, whatever his fucking name is? Why is it on a first name basis for Anish, but you're not on a first name basis with John? Don't try and appear unimpartial, because this isn't. After some back and forth with Mr. Murphy, he agreed to pay the fine that was owing. While Mr. Murphy paid the fine with assistance of DC Prentice, I spoke with Sergeant Chris Gwilliam to discuss the matter of what and outcome. Due to the minor nature of the alleged assault, no, he didn't write alleged, I just threw that in there, it was determined that a verbal warning would be a sufficient outcome. No, it wouldn't, because you can only give verbal warnings if someone admits they've done something wrong. So you broke your own fucking warning policy there, dicks. Honestly, Chris Gwilliam, DC Prentice. I mean, do you have no clue on how to uphold the law? Detective Constable, you'd expect you'd know a little bit more, but no. It was agreed that the offence met the evidential test, but we believed that it fell short of the public interest in prosecution. Yeah, it did. I explained to Anish, and he was unhappy with this action I had decided to take. Oh, cry me a river, Anish didn't get no one arrested. I explained to Anish, and he was unhappy with the action I had decided to take. I spoke with Mr. Murphy after he had paid the fine and advised him I would be warning him for common assault, which he appeared to understand. Didn't fucking answer you though, did he? We left the address with Anish and returned to our cars and left the area. On the 26th of May, I received an email from Matthew Preston. No, he sent that on the 15th of May. He sent that on the 19th. It took you a week to get the email he sent. On the 26th of May, I received an email from Matthew Preston, who was Anish's team manager at Ministry of Justice. The email outlined their disappointment in the action I took on the day and believed that Mr. Murphy should have been charged with assault. Well, I'm sorry, Ministry of Justice, Matthew Preston. It's not up to you. It's up to the police if they wish to lay charges, not you. So learn your place, get back behind the computer in your little Ministry of Justice office and learn how to deal with Anish. Was it Anus? No, Anish. That's right. I might accidentally call him Anus. No offence. The email also outlined the powers invested in the bailiff and also the offence of obstructing a bailiff. Well, which he hadn't done. Following this email, I had a discussion with Detective Senior Sergeant Catherine Bostock. It was decided that I would follow up by investigating the incident with a view of laying the charge of obstruction, which he never did because he didn't obstruct it. No bailiff was there to do a warrant for arrest, so no obstruction took place. But again, the police are just showing their incompetence. Let's do the obstruction bit first. Okay, on the 11th of June 2021, I obtained a written statement from Anish outlining the day's events and assault. Yeah, several months afterwards. On the 10th of August, I met with Murphy at his address in Green Lane and served him with a summons to appear in court on the 20th of August, 2021. The summons stated that he obstructed a bailiff. Mr. Murphy accepted the summons and advised that he would see me in court. Upon completion of the necessary paperwork to prepare the file for court, I noted that the specific offence of obstructing a bailiff under the Summary Proceedings Act 1957 required the bailiff to be acting on an arrest warrant, which he wasn't. Oh, poor him. In this case, Anish was acting on a fines warrant, and this would not meet the criteria. This leaves only the offence of committed being that of a common assault. You know, you missed the word alleged, you dickhead. For which I verbally warned Mr. Murphy about. And you didn't have to warn him because he never accepted any responsibility for it. You had no grounds to warn him, dickhead. One key note from that ruling was that the alleged offender must admit the facts before a warning may be given, which he didn't do. In this case, Mr. Murphy denies the assault occurred and therefore does not admit to the facts. Why would he? Given this ruling, that means the verbal warning should not stand, and Mr. Murphy should be given the opportunity to dispute this matter in court. No, what it means is that you had no fucking basis to give him a verbal warning. It doesn't mean that he should now face the matter in court, because you didn't meet the public interest standards to bring forth that charge. So what should have done is you should have gone around and said, sorry John, we fucked up. What Anus should have done is, sorry John, I tripped. What all the cops should have done is go fucking home. Find a new fucking job. Because clearly they don't do their fucking work properly. This is just an abortion. For that reason, I entered a charge of common assault to be heard on the first appearance. Although the description on the summons was listed as obstructing a bailiff, I believe that that was enough to fairly inform Mr. Murphy as to what he was being summoned for. A second summons would not be necessary for the offence of common assault. Really, so a second summons fully and fairly informing the alleged person of the cause and nature of the proceedings in line with the Bill of Rights Act wasn't necessary. So cops didn't even fully and fairly inform him of the cause and nature of common assault. How the hell is he supposed to know what he's answering if you guys can't even make your fucking mind up? Disgusting, disgusting police work. I confirm the truth and accuracy of the statement. Like fuck you do. You're a lying scumbag, Scott Coleman. And I don't care if John likes you or not. As far as I'm concerned, after reading what you pricks put in this fucking charge, you're a joke. Quit. That's my answer to you. Fucking give up. So anyway, I know, it's passion, it's not anger. So anyway, after all that bullshit, we go to court on Monday, and I'm going to show you the lying prosecutor, and then I'm going to show you at the 11th hour, instead of the police saying, our bad, we should never have brought you to court, because that would be admitting they'd done something wrong. No, they do the section 146. They withdraw. Like a guy's just about to shoot his load all over you, he withdraws. Yep. And that's what cops are good at, shooting their fucking loads everywhere after withdrawing at the last instance. So, yeah. John walked away. Case dismissed. Well, withdrawn. So, nothing to answer. He should never have had to go through a year and a half of this bullshit because you fucking pigs and anus couldn't get your fucking stories right or had any relevant evidence. God forbid the Attorney General's fucking instructions on public interest being met. No, we won't care about that, will you, police? No, you'd rather walk around fucking masked up, standing in Manurewa with the window washer sign, ticketing people for being on their cell phone.
What? Is the cop hiding? He's the cop that gave me the ticket. It's the cop there. He's the cop that gave me the ticket.
You're a cop. He is the cop.
Yeah. This is bad, man.
Oh, he's pretending to be a window washer.
Yeah, he's pretending to be a window washer.
Oh, that's fucking rough, man.
Yeah. I almost want to get out, bro.
Oh, shall I? No.
What?
Just keep filming him from here. Look, he knew.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a cop.
Nah, I want to get out and fucking... Nah, bro.
Shall I go here?
Just you.
Huh?
Wait, this is a cop. Alright guys, so we've got the police here hiding, pretending to be window washers. So what they do is they stand here and they dress up in hoodies and with a window washer thing. And they're looking and they're trying to get people in Manurewa. They're trying to get people in Manurewa tickets for fines, for maybe phones, seatbelts. But now they're going to send some other cops over to me to talk to me because I'm wrecking their operation. This is actually the same officer that gave me a ticket for not speeding. He was a real bully. He wanted to intimidate, not educate. Duncan Garner's going to get this. G'day.
Move on or you'll be arrested for obstruction.
For obstruction, I'm on public space, yeah? So we're live.
Yeah, you're filming our officer here.
So he is an officer?
He is.
Yeah.
You want to move on or you'll be arrested for obstruction?
So public place?
You can cross over the other side of the road if you'd like.
So I'm not allowed to be here, and I'm going to get arrested.
Yes, if you don't carry on. You're getting in our way. We'll
Yep.
go operation, okay?
Yeah. I'll just say this is
You
going
cross
to the
over the
media.
road if you want.
Duncan Gunn has asked for this.
Okay.
So
Go
our
down
local
the road if you want.
politicians, our local MPs, because it's not. These people are just trying to go to work and stuff, you know. And I don't think having someone in a hoodie with a bandana, yeah, but is it dangerous? Is it saving lives? Is this where we need to be? Are these people ram reading? Hey, so here he is trying to hide, and I'm getting threatened with arrest if I don't move. So am I actually going to get arrested?
You will be if you don't carry on.
So I'll go back to the public
You
area.
carry on to the other side of the road.
Nah, that's not how it works. This is public area.
Yeah, we're
So, are you telling the truth or are you lying to me to get me out of here? Hey man, how's it going?
What are you up to now?
I'm just showing the public what happens here. Yeah.
What happens where?
When the police are dressing up like this with a window washer sign, trying to get people on their phones and whatnot. I've spoken to you before. Yeah. So I'm just auditing for YouTube, my YouTube channel, and for some media personalities that want this as well.
But you can do it from somewhere else, man.
But can you just explain if it's legal for me to be standing here with a camera?
Yeah, as long as you're not obstructing us.
Yeah.
You can stand here with the camera.
Yeah. Okay, how far do I need to be from him to not be obstructing them?
You can film from the other side of the road.
Other
if
side
you'd
of the
like.
road, that side there, or that side there. Okay?
What's wrong with here?
You're obstructing him.
What if I don't talk to him?
Pardon? Yeah, you're obstructing what he's doing.
What's okay? Did you?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all good. Just carry on. Yeah. And if you want to talk, we can talk down here, and I can talk to you. All right. Otherwise, we're getting.
Yeah. Would you like to say? Would you be able to we have a little interview?
No, we're not having interviews, but I can talk to you if you want.
Okay. Yep. Cool.
So you can switch that off. And
No, I'll keep it running because, like I said, we've got some media personalities and some local MPs that want to see this. So they've just told me to leave. Once again, we've got this cop here with a hoodie filming people. So then they bring them in. They bring them in down here and they flag them into the car park. Like, it would be cool if we saw this in all areas, but I mostly only see it here, which is interesting. So yeah, we'll just keep having a look around, see what we got, and yeah, hopefully we can come to a result.
You wouldn't get that shit in Wellington.
Police! Remember that time you gave me that ticket? And it wasn't me, it was the bus in the line. Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So you need to, if you want to do this, that's fine.
Yeah.
You can cross the road there and do it, or you can cross the road over there and do it.
I'm allowed to be here.
No, if you come here and obstruct him again, you're going to get arrested. This is
Okay.
running, so cross the road.
No, I'm allowed to be here.
You're going to get arrested for obstruction. Cross the road. Okay. You want to get arrested?
I'm not going to talk to him.
Yeah. Cross the road. You've already been warned. Off you go.
I don't have to cross the road here.
Yeah.
I don't have to
You're
cross the road.
obstructing my officer.
I'm not going to talk to him anymore. On camera, I'm not going to
Pardon?
talk to him anymore.
Yeah, just leave. You can, yeah, if you want to do this, you can do it over there. Let's go. Keep going. Keep walking that way. Hurry up.
So as we see here, I'm just backed up against the rope pole. I've been told to move, but I'm on a public space, so I know that I'm allowed to film anything from a public space.
I didn't say you're not allowed to film, but if you obstruct him again, you're going to get arrested.
Okay, can we define obstruction?
In threatening people. Then when people film you guys do it, you'd rather assault or warn. No, warn's not the right word. Threaten. You pigs would rather threaten someone doing a lawful activity on a sidewalk with obstruction. How does he know? That guy looked like a window washer. It's only after you pigs confirmed he was actually a police officer. Jiggers up. Doesn't go well. That's called entrapment. I've even got you fuckers arresting window washers. So you're going to go around and arrest your own fucking piggy boys? No. Disgusting. But I will tell you something. I'm going to be over Manukau Way, and as you know, in November to give old Tony a bit of hand and support in his case management hearing. So I might just wander on down to Manurewa Police Station, do a little filming there. Ask them some questions about that untoward, disgusting entrapment that fucking pig dressed up as a window washer was doing. Let alone the other little 3 piggies that decide to come over and threaten the man who's doing a lawful activity on a public fucking sidewalk for obstruction. Ridiculous. Why don't the cops go and arrest him for window washing? I've seen them do it. Oh, he's one of their own? That's okay then. I'm surprised that they weren't all in a fucking daisy chain line with their dicks hanging out of each one's arseholes like a fucking box of monkeys. Anyway, just disgusted with that window washer story. Anyway, fellas, leave you to it. Enjoy the vid. The last little bit here of the lying prosecutor and how she tries, you notice just before the judge comes back, she tries to pull John out for a quiet little chat. She did not like it when I walked out after him. She was thinking, oh, I can get him away from his Mackenzie friend for 5 seconds. I can get him to admit something. No, I recorded you, you lying bitch. Anyway, see you guys. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and Happy Donaria to all of you police officers out there. Fuckers.
Because I've been doing it and I've been doing a lot of the community stuff like I've got little Philip in my yard, he's done up to 40 relays and we're teaching him. You speak to Catherine with the last place.
Just gonna find a toilet, Jerry.
Yeah,
Calling the matter of John Murphy to courtroom 11.
Closer to you at any stage, let me know. He's entitled to be there to talk to you if you need to. I see you've got a memorandum. Let me just right, not guilty plea was entered at the last appearance. That's where the 126 and you're wanting some time to argue from the abuse of process argument. Is that right?
I had filed that
Okay, let me just have a look. Usually see if there's something I can quickly sort out for you. The application is to Mr. Obama's statements. How do the police respond to that?
I do apologise, sir. I haven't taken the opportunity to be able to go through it properly. I definitely understand where Mr. Murphy is coming from, but would like an opportunity to speak with Mr. Murphy and resolve matters, sir. I do apologise that hasn't happened today. As I said, sir, I am on Friday and I haven't had the opportunity to review the application.
We'll do that on the break. The chat to him at 11:30.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy, take a seat at the back. I get the sense that we probably sort this out for you one way or the other today. Ms. Tuavaka Staples is our police prosecutor. She's still got a few more cases to call in front of me this morning. We're due to take a break at 11:30. We might have the opportunity to stop early depending on whether we get through all of our cases before then. As soon as she comes free, she'll come and have a chat to you. I can see that you've got relevant CCTV footage based on what the police have told you. You've got a pretty good case. Right, so, but first of all, have a chat to Mr. Obaka Staples and we'll see what we can sort out for you. All right.
It's not the first time you've been through this, have you? Right, so in terms of just a quick look at your that Detective Constable Coleman had provided to you.
Yes.
So you accept your offending behaviour on the day, did you?
No.
No, that's why he
Gave
charged
you
you.
a warning, yeah.
He gave you a warning, but you failed to accept your offending on the day. That's why he laid the charge.
But I did say to him at the time that because I followed law, and Paul Davidson, High Court judge, had written an article which was in the Herald a few days before to say that he can't do things. But I didn't want to be smart and cheek. I've got a business to run, and I've had
Well, that's right.
conflicts with police in the past,
Well,
and I've been trying to make amends.
The
So
police chose to issue that warning on the day. It was only after the fact they chose to realise, he didn't accept responsibility. He didn't say he'd actually done any assault, so we can't give him a warning because he hadn't accepted responsibility. They tried the summons first for obstruction because of Matthew or whoever the boss of the Ministry of Justice, the boss of the bailiff.
It's because
pushes it.
we're not complying with the bailiff's orders. That's why police came to assist. That aside, anyway, let's just get through it.
yeah.
Okay, I'm going to remain neutral on your
Yep.
section 147 and leave for the judge. How's that?
Can't blame. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to remain neutral on your
Yep.
section 147 and leave for the judge. How's that?
Can't blame.
Cool.
I'm going to get a not
Go,
totally
go
rude.
get a water.
Yeah, try to get a I'll try to get one. Maybe get a
I'll give you one.
on the photo.
Just grab one, please.
Are we going back in now? Are we?
at the day, right, when it was going down, there was
So you did apologise?
There was a misunderstanding, right, and he tripped over the thing on the way out, and I've dealt with bailiffs for years. I'm not a thug, you know, and because I run businesses, okay, and I work 7 days a week, and of course these instances are going to occur more.
And you've already paid your fine?
Oh,
Yeah, the fine thing was sorted on the day, but he'd only apologise if he actually did something wrong, and he didn't assault him, so what's the point of apologising?
I'd asked him to call his boss to define the difference between gun and fire okay? He was trying to take, anyway, it's all a way for David's.
Yes,
but I did say to him, no hard feelings, in front of Scott Coleman and the other policeman.
Okay, well, you just make that known to the judge.
Started yelling at me again.
Okay. All that aside, let's try and get this.
Amicable at the end of the day.
Thanks, everyone.
We're calling the matter of John Murphy, courtroom 11. Yes, sir. Thank you for providing the opportunity to speak with Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
We've gone through the charge itself and why it was laid. He accepts that an altercation did occur on that day. He accepts that an altercation did occur on that day. He accepts that an altercation did occur on that day. A warning was provided to him, and please seek to withdraw the charge pursuant to section 1. That's it.
Very good. The charge is withdrawn. You don't have to worry about it any further, Mr. Murphy. You're free to go. My compliments to you and to your McKinsey Priest for a job well done.